Hi guys, welcome to 3 Minute Books. So let me give a really short intro to what 3 Minute Books is. 3 Minute Books is going to be a place where I break down really small pieces of highlights of books that I think that are really good, and I break it down in 3 minutes. So that's what 3 Minute Books is. So let's see what is the book that we have today. So the book that I'm going to break down in 3 minutes is going to be this book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, a fable tale about fulfilling your dreams and reaching your destiny.
Favorite book? The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. Who's that by? What's it about?
So this book is a really superbly general book. It's by Robin S. Sharma. It's one of the most captivating book based on the author of The Alchemist, and it's a really good book if you're trying to get some insights on how to improve your life in a more philosophical way. If you're feeling down or something, grab this book. If you're trying to reach new heights of your career, I think this book is a really good book to try to move you to a different perspective. So without further ado, let's look at this book. So the intro of this book, it tells about a really successful lawyer called Julian, who goes through a really he's really successful, but he was really unhappy with his life. So he dropped everything. He sold all his really fancy houses, every of his Ferraris, his cars, all his material possession, and go on a soul searching journey, which he encountered a monk that changed his life. So in this whole book has tons of really good stuff, but I'm just gonna talk about 3 of them. And the first one is that when Julian first came back to meet one of his colleagues, he poured tea into the teapot. He poured tea into the cup, and he kept pouring it until it overflowed. And of course, the colleague was like, "What the hell are you doing, man?" So he was trying to illustrate a really good point, is that just like the cup, it's filled with ideas. So how can any new ideas go in more? Which means to say that we as human beings, from birth until now, we have been fed with so much information, and we have been on this system, this track that brings you to a straight trajectory that we've been taught to do this, and this. So what Julian is trying to illustrate is that if what you have is what you've been taught everything in the past, you should try something new, and that something new could lead you to different things. So that is what the first highlight is all about. Now the second highlight is there's always opportunity even in dark times. So if he points out in this story where on his journey he met this girl called Malika, where she's a teacher, she's a really kind teacher and things like that. So one day in her village, someone burned down the whole school, which she wasn't able to teach in the school. Instead of taking it negatively, where she could probably go to the police or gather someone to catch these people, she took the opportunity to raise money and rebuild the school with new facilities, rather than siding on the dark kind of things. I think we as humans, we tend to do that. When something really bad happens, instead of trying to see the brighter side of things, we see the darker side of things. Where if something bad happens, we acknowledge the negative rather than trying to see positive in the negative. So that is what Julian in the book was saying. And the third part, which I think is really captivating, is that Julian says that we as people should read regularly. Reading regularly doesn't mean that you have to read the entire day, but 30 minutes every single day. And not to just read anything, because there's a lot of things that you can read on, just like you can watch a lot of videos, but read things that are actually good for your mind. So if you take into context, it's the same thing like what you eat is what your body is. So if you eat crappy food, your body will probably be crappy. So if you read crappy stuff, your mind is probably crappy. So he says that as people, we need to be self-knowledge and self-fed in terms of knowledge. So reading regularly, 30 minutes a day, just sit down for 30 minutes, reading regularly is much better for a lot of all of us to learn new things and to gain new knowledge. So those are the three things in The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. There are tons of more stuff like the Heart of Rose, and there are a lot of other techniques that are in this book. If you are ever interested in getting this book, you can check out, there's a place in Amcor Mall, or you can go to Amazon. But I bought this book with this guy called Andrew something. His shop is in Amcor Mall, and this book is only 15 ringgit. So it's a really cheap book, it's a really, really good book, and it's a really easy book to digest, which you can read it really, really quickly. So if you ever need a book that you are trying, like a really good self-help book, I would say this is the book that you should definitely get.